so we're ready to do part 3. So another 20 minutes and we should just about get there with it, hopefully. So right, so just want to put a little bit of relief into the clouds up there, that they just look a wee bit solid, especially this one. That might be too strong, I don't think so. It's quite coloured. And perhaps to the edges of some of these larger clouds. I think this completed painting, as it is actually on my website if you wanted to have a look. I think it's in the prints section. And this could be a little bit darker here, so I'll just might try a little bit of this blue actually. Oh no, that's far too blue. Something just a little bit not too dark. Can never have enough purples. I think that's the blue. Oh, you use some of that. I think that's the blue. Sorry, the A36, which is quite dark, but it'll be fine in there. Okay, if I put my finger on there, that will light the top a bit. And perhaps a bit of this side. Sometimes you need to just make sure you're getting the balance in there. And what's rather nice is to take some dark right across the light where the sunshine is, and I might take some of the orange across there as well, just to it accentuates that sunshine. So, you know, I would spend time tickling this up and just making sure that we got it to where I was happy with it, really. I think I will probably put a little bit more colour across here, but I don't want to miss getting the other bits in. So I think we need a little bit stronger. Again, taking through some of the light bits. I'm going to, in fact I'll just push this in. In fact I've still got some paper showing there. I always try and work all over all of the time, but I do find starting with the sky with landscapes and just coming down a little bit first is very helpful for me. We've got little bits of wave light, so I want to keep that a mid-tone and not too coloured. So that's the Rembrandt pastel again. It's nice and hard, so it's not going to leave too much pastel along the way, but it will just suggest some of those waves. You can see the way that they've got this nice flow. This is actually just a picture that actually was made of a composition of varying photographs and a little bit of imagination. So you don't need to be slavish, just keep, use your reference photographs, but that's what they are. You don't need to be slavish to your photographs that you take. So I think we'll get a little bit lighter with some of the foam. And just little marks, just kind of scumbling and mark making. A nice one comes all the way across there, and lovely shapes. Making sure that you don't get it looking like things are going uphill, so be very careful not to upset your level of your sea. Pressure will give you a more intense mark, there's a bit of an accent. Some of these waves might just be breaking a little bit too. So the thing now is really to sort of get some, to make these look 3D, make them look real. So it's about getting the darks and lights working to make that happen. Just like if you're doing a still life, it's all about the lights and darks. I've been doing some Zoom lessons with my little granddaughter, she's 12, and we've been doing some charcoal. I think she's really enjoyed it. But charcoal's a great thing to start with as well, just so that you learn about how your tonal values work to give shape and form. I like that colour. I think I'm going to pop some in this sky. All this will repeat it, so it's really good to work all over and to get your colours in so that everything becomes, you know, harmonised. I think that's a little bit thick, that cloud, but never mind, it'll have to be alright, won't it? And again, bring something across the sky. I think we could do with something a little bit darker across there. So this is a blue. I've not used the blue yet, but it'll really highlight, just bring some, oh no, it doesn't look right at all, does it? I thought it would. Sorry, apologies there. So, let's get the grey 27, we'll get some of that on, and we've got a pinky lilac as well. I think that might be good. We just want something that's going to be reasonably bright. It's not bright enough actually. Try that one. I think that's similar, never mind. It'll do. There are some little bits of very fine foam, and that wants glazing and leaving. It doesn't want blending in at all, it wants to be left. It's coming away. To try and work directionally, most of the lights by where the wave is rippling on the sand. I'm just going to put a little bit more in. Make sure that's clean. So to get some of the brightness in here. So this isn't white. White tends to be very... I don't use black and I don't use white also. I'm saying I do actually use black sometimes to darken pastel. You know, if I'm doing a black dog or something that's really dark, but it doesn't. I don't ever use it in landscape work. And really afford to press on in that area. So bringing that down and through there. Don't get it too regimented. And this light is then going to go onto the little wavelets that are going across the sand. So just on those edges, we're going to put some darks underneath there so it gives a 3D effect. You could put some really pale lemons and yellows in the wavelets as well into the surf. It's nice to carry the colours throughout your painting. Because everything's looking a little bit flat in between at the moment. We need to make it look shiny. I think that's a little bit too blue. That's a better one. So we just put a little bit of dark. This isn't one that's got to quite a nice thin little bit. So just a little broken line of dark underneath where the surf is hitting the beach, is just hitting across the sand where it's trickling across. Now I've got my purple Cenelia here, and with that I'm going to get a really good dark under the ones that are actually in the water there. And I'm going to use that to take right across here. So this is a really, you can see it's a very intense dark. Cenelia do some very, very good darks. Unison have actually brought out a midnight set, which is good. But even still, I can't quite get all the colours that I usually use in those. Just adding a few darks just to give some texture to the sea. And then we need to put some sparkly bits in. So this is the A36 I think that we've got now, just to knock some of those in a little bit, 1 or 2 extra darks across there and perhaps across that bit too. This is another Conte. I just want to get a little bit of the sun light along there. So this is not going to put much pastel down. It's going to rather blend what I've got in. I really like the Conte pastel, it's something I've used for many years. So it's a small pastel and I can got control in there and I can get some of the colour onto the sea. We also need to get some of the orange light along here as well. So just gently, just tickle across. So it needs to be very tenderly done, does this. It needs to be very... Try to keep the levels. I think I have a darker one, which I think might be quite good. I think the darker one might be better for some of those areas. Just pick a little bit, not too much at the horizon, but certainly along here. Just to get some of the light reflecting on the sea. just stand back. You don't want to overdo it, but we need to get something in there. I'm going to put a little bit of a brighter orange on as well across this area here, which is the lightest and the brightest. So you can see those darks are really standing out now that we've got in. Just little snippets will be good just to suggest the light. Again, taking through. So a few minutes to go yet, so that's good. So some of those darks can actually be softened in, and we can also put some other bits of the Sennelier in just to get that really nice and juicy along there. So we get the grey 27 again, and I'm just going to get some. Now I'm really pressing, I want to get some nice mark making on here. I'm really pressing with this just to get some nice marks. We can have one or two of the waves just pulling up and breaking a little bit. Don't want to go overboard, but just to. I think that probably wants to cut down there. That looks a little bit of an odd shape there, but I think we're probably not very far away from being finished off there now. So I think we're almost finished with our time. I think I'd like to put a little bit more yellow in along here. So you need to come back and assess. If you people that sit when you're doing your work, again it's really good just to get up and have a little look, just to assess your picture. So I think we're probably about there with it really. There's a few tweaks I would like to make, and I think that's to just get some little bits of light on some of these lighter bits of sky, just to bring those up a little bit. And but I think I can probably manage to show you how you get from A to B with it, and that's the most important thing, apart from the smudges on it. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this demonstration in pastel. We were almost time-wise there. A little bit about framing. I don't fix my artwork. It tends to flatten it and make it darker. It's done I do all my work on a toothy paper, and if you just give it a little bit of a bang on your board before you get it framed, just to get rid of any loose and surplus dust, then that's fine. A double mount's really good, and I use a glass called Art Clear, which is not a sort of museum and conservation glass, but it does stop a lot of the light reflections. Well, it is a little bit more expensive, but it can be worth doing. So I think we're there really. So I really hope you've enjoyed this demonstration and that I might meet you again sometime. Bye.